Recently, someone wrote in the comments of one of my YouTube videos that they and their partner were thinking about swinging with another couple for the first time, and they wanted my advice. And this is it. How to successfully swing for the first time. Number one, by clarifying what your preferences are. There's a term in the swinging world that is full swap or partial swap. A partial swap involves limited sexual activities, usually but not always non-penetrative acts, often with the partners staying close or engaging in activities in the same room, as compared to a full swap, which typically means that both partners are comfortable with penetrative sex with others and may allow for more independent experiences. We'll talk about that in just another second. What's most important here is that you speak openly with your partner and talk about what feels right for you. Remember that you can always have another go, and it's best to just start with whatever is your actual comfort level to begin with so that everyone can feel safe. Number two, define clear boundaries together. Before you meet up with anybody else, discuss and agree upon your specific boundaries. Think about it in these terms. What are your physical boundaries? So what are you comfortable doing with others? What are your emotional boundaries? How much emotional intimacy is acceptable? Some people like to get really emotional during sex and they're praising and they're loving on this other person. Like, would that make you uncomfortable? Talk about it in advance. We could talk about geographic and location boundaries. Do we want to stay in the same room? Is it okay to separate briefly? What if one out of the four of us has to go to the bathroom? Should the play continue? Get as detailed as possible in this conversation and review it like when you are on your way to do the thing. Like, have the conversation in advance and then do a check-in, and that way everybody's on the same page. Number three, just start with a no pressure meetup. You want to gauge chemistry. You want to see if you're comfortable with these people. I'd hate going into a scenario where like someone is expecting to have sex. It puts all kinds of pressure that does not need to be there. So arrange a meeting that is in a relaxed, neutral, public setting. It could be a coffee shop or an art gallery. It could be a bar, but consider if you want to have alcohol or you want to do anything that would intoxicate you beforehand. That might not be the best move, or talk about maybe setting some limits on intoxicants. The moral of the story is get together with the other people and get to know each other, at least casually. In that environment, you can also talk about desires and boundaries and comfort levels without there being any immediate pressure to go do stuff right away. It also is really nice when you get to meet another couple or talk through things, and then you separate, you get in your individual cars, if that's the vibe, and we're gonna go somewhere next, and you have a moment to check in with each other in private and kind of ground the experience and prepare for the next thing. Number four, establish a nonverbal signal for check-ins. Agree on a subtle signal, a gentle shoulder touch or a phrase, or you like scratch your nose in a specific way. Also make sure to practice it in advance. Nothing as annoying as trying to give your secret symbol and your partner has forgotten what the secret symbol is. So you just look like you're rubbing your nose all the time waiting for them to get it. Not cute. The signal is invaluable for keeping each other grounded and aligned, especially if emotions come up unexpectedly. Just having the signal in your back pocket will help you to feel safer, because you'll know if something comes up with your partner, they can let you know, and vice versa. All right, number five, discuss comfort with same room versus separate room play. Okay, I've never fully gotten this myself, because my thing is I would rather know what's going on and see my partner, even if I'm like a little uncomfortable. Like mostly I think it's gonna be like hot and a turn on to see my partner being sexy with someone else. But when I can't see them and I don't know what's going on, my mind tends to race a lot. But I know that I don't speak for everyone, and I certainly don't represent all swingers. I didn't really identify as a swinger, but these are my thoughts. Okay, that's it. Take it or leave it. You might disagree, but decide in advance if you are comfortable playing in the same room or if you'd like to experiment with separate room activities. A lot of people like to go into separate room. They don't like to be thinking about what their partner's doing or seeing them out of the corner of their eye or comparing like, oh my God, that orgasm sounded really good. Do I make her come like that? Sometimes having more space feels good. It can feel actually like we can drop into our own experience a lot better when there's less going on. Again, there's no right or wrong way to do it. Just make sure that you and the other couple are all on the same page. All right, number six, consider setting a time limit for your first experience. Sometimes knowing that there is a agreed upon endpoint can be very grounding for someone's nervous system. It could be like 2 hours. It could be that we're going to give the signal that we're ready to end, and then we're going to ground our experience, land the plane. Like, don't just okay, give the signal, let's throw on our coats and get out of here. That's kind of rude. But come up with a way that you know that the experience is going to be over and talk in advance about how you want to end it. This can help you to feel like you have a sense of control over the experience and it's not getting away from you, but you also don't need to have a conversation mid-action. And then related to that, number 7, plan for aftercare. After experiencing a different kind of intimacy, especially one that includes other people, it is natural to have feelings come up. Some of them may be complex, and that's totally okay. So build in time for emotional aftercare with each other, like cuddling, sharing your favorite moments, or just like decompressing together. If you know in advance that you're gonna wanna spend like at least an hour talking to each other about the experience, book your evening such that you have an hour to do that. So if that means we have to leave their house at 11 so we can get home by 11:30 so that we don't stay up past 12:30 having a decompression, value that you made that agreement and have integrity to your word, and you have to go because you need the time to reconnect after. The reconnection time is going to foster intimacy between the two of you. It will reinforce trust and it will make you way more likely to succeed at swinging over and over and over again if that is what you choose to do. And finally, number 8, follow up with an honest debrief. In the days following your experience, talk openly, candidly, vulnerably about what you felt physically, emotionally, sexually. Have a conversation about what you loved and maybe what could have gone better. Don't take anything too personally. So like even if your partner's having, some degree of emotional struggle come up, you don't have to defend yourself. You don't have to like fix it for them. You can just be a mirror and say, hey, I hear you saying that like watching me have sex with another person was kind of triggering for you. Like, thank you so much for letting me know. It doesn't mean you did anything bad or wrong. It doesn't mean that the other couple did anything bad or wrong. These things are naturally going to bring some stuff up to the surface for us that maybe we weren't aware of before. And that is a gift. Let's receive those things as a blessing because now we know what's there and we can work on it. And that way we have an opportunity to either do something differently in the future or do something that offers us healing in the present moment. You also can discuss what boundaries worked really well, what boundaries you'd like to put in place for the future, and future desires that you have should you want to try again. All of this is going to help, again, to land the experience and make sure that everyone feels seen and cared for and like their pleasure and their emotional and mental health was prioritized. If you're thinking about it, I highly recommend that you check it out. Life is short, pleasure is great, and things like swinging can actually bring you closer to your partner and can really spice up and invigorate a sex life and like help you to meet desires and fantasies and things inside of a consensual container instead of going outside of it. I highly recommend it. I hope that this was helpful. I'm Caitlin B. Thank you so much. I'll see you here later this week.